The air in the barn tasted stale, thick with the ghosts of last season's hay and the oily tang of old tractor parts. Just finishing up securing the last loose shutter against the coming night. Dusk bled across the Kansas fields, painting the horizon in bruised purples and a sickly orange. Through the wide doors, the dying sun cast long, stretched-out silhouettes across the dusty floor, my own, warped by the uneven boards. Oh, and others, maybe just fence. Posts or the gnarled oak by the creek, distorted by the low light. Told myself that, yet, is their movement felt, deliberate, shifting when I turned my head like they'd frozen mid-step. My grandfather's words, spoken a lifetime ago over bitter coffee, surfaced unbidden. Never whistle past sundown, boy, especially near the old places. The air gets hungry then. And things listen. Stupid local superstition. Just wind in the eaves, right, but the air did asterisk feel heavy, pressing down, like wading through cold molasses. A faint vibration hummed against my eardrums, not a sound, but a pressure, like the distant tremble before thunder. My skin prickled, hairs rising on my neck despite the lingering warmth of the day. I squinted at the silhouettes dancing against the fiery sky. One seemed taller now, impossibly lean, a trick of the fading light, nothing more. A sweat cooled on my brow, tasting metallic and sour like licking a battery. I slammed the final bolt home, the clang unnaturally loud in the sudden stillness. The birds had stopped their evening chatter. Even the crickets were mute. Only the heavy silence, and that building pressure inside my head, a low thrumming like a tuning fork struck deep inside my skull. The shadows by the door seemed darker, deeper, thicker. My breath hitched. Was that movement just beyond the threshold, or just the wind stirring the tall grass with a dry, papery susurration? Then it began. Not a sound you hear with your ears, but feel in your bones. A high, reedy vibration threading through the air, impossibly distant yet chillingly intimate. It coiled around my thoughts, familiar yet utterly alien. It's a fragmented melody, like a child's lullaby played on broken glass. Sweet notes turning. Sour, twisting into something mournful, predatory. My blood turned to ice slurry. El Silban. Grandfather's whispered stories weren't just stories. The whistle wasn't just drifting asterisk on the wind. It asterisk was the wind. Every hair on my body stood rigid. The silhouette against the sunset hadn't shifted again. It stood rigidly still. Impossibly tall, unnaturally thin. Watching. The pressure inside my head intensified, the ghost melody weaving through it. One moment it seemed leagues away, echoing from the darkened woods. The next, it felt like cold breath whistling right beside my ear, carrying the scent of wet earth and something impossibly old. Like rotted roots deep underground, my hands trembled, slick with cold sweat. Logic screamed asterisk echoes, wind whistling through a crack, but instinct, primal and shrieking, knew different. This was being sought. Hunted. The melody shifted again, resolving into a sequence of sharp, questioning notes, almost like a name being called. My asterisk name, no, couldn't be, had to run. But my legs felt bolted to the dusty floor. The barn itself seemed to lean in, the rafters groaning with a deep, subsonic complaint. The silhouette took a single, fluid step forward, elongating further across the threshold. The fading light didn't touch it. How far away was it? The whistle slithered closer, rapping my name. No, asterisk, not my name. My grandfather's old nickname for me. A sound no one else had used since he died. How could it know? The air tasted sharply of ozone and decay. The silhouette raised one impossibly long arm, impossibly slowly, pointing. Not at the barn, but deeper inside, towards the locked grain room. The room where the accident happened. Tens. Years ago, the whistle dissolved into a single, sustained note unbearably high, impossibly close. Inside my head, inside the barn with me, not a warning, a summons, my blood roared in my ears, drowning my frantic thoughts. It wasn't looking for me anymore. It had been here all along. The shadows weren't cast by the barn. They asterisk were the barn, and the whistle, it wasn't calling asterisk to me. It was calling from me. The thin, reedy vibration started low in my own throat. I tried to clench my jaw shut, teeth grinding. Useless. The note escaped, frail and sharp, weaving into the monstrous melody filling the darkening air. The silhouette stepped fully into the barn, dissolving into the gathering gloom. Its outline vanished, merging with the deeper shadows pooling in the corners. The pressure in my head reached a shattering peak. Then, silence, a perfect, suffocating void, no whistle, no silhouettes, just the creak of the old timbers settling, and the chilling certainty. I was no longer alone, not outside, not even in the barn. The silence stretched, taut as a tripwire. The air hung thick and still, tasting now of dust and dread. Every shadow pulsed with unseen life. My own shallow breathing sounded like a roar. Then, faint at first, a sound began. Not outside, not a whistle. This was wetter, closer, the rhythmic, sticky rasp of something heavy, being dragged slowly, slowly, and across the dusty floorboards behind me, near the locked grain room door, the space where it happened, where he fell, my breath hitched, frozen in my lungs. The dragging sound stopped. Right behind me, the cold sharpened, biting at my exposed skin. Someone, breathed out. A slow, deliberate sigh, carrying the faint, unmistakable scent of damp earth. And whiskey, grandfather's brand. My own paralyzed reflection stared back at me from the dark glass of a tractor window. And in the reflection, just behind my shoulder, a glint of moonlight caught on something pale. A single dangling bone, finger-thin, old, and hanging from it a tarnished scent Christopher medal, his asterisk medal, lost in. The fall, impossible. The barn door slammed shut with a final echoing crash. Outside, the whistle resumed. The same lullaby, but now it wasn't mournful. It was satisfied content. Like a lullaby sung after the child has finally gone to sleep. The sound coiled around me, soft and inescapable. The dragging sound started again, not away, but closer, towards the echo of my own ragged breath. The scent. A Christopher medal swung gently in the glass reflection, swinging, like a pendulum counting down. The metallic taste in my mouth wasn't fear anymore. It was pennies, old pennies. And the dragging sound wasn't behind me anymore. It was inside my head. The melody softened further, a final, chillingly tender note. And I realized, with a terror deeper than bones, that my lips were forming it too. Perfect. A harmony, the last light vanished.